Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, where information never sleeps and freedom is one seed that needs to be planted.
What we do in life, it goes in eternity.
Hi, and welcome. You're live here with me, Paul Stevenson, on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com on this Friday, the 31st of March. Okay, I want to get to this story just before the break. The Amazon book banning. So Amazon have booked, I think, about 70 books. I was looking on a website earlier of a guy called a Truth Seeker. He reckons it's up to as many 200 or something. So they have banned the World Jewish Congress. Basically, the CEO, Robert Zinger, has put tremendous pressure on Jeff Bezos, who's the owner of Amazon, and he has buckled, like most people do, to Jewish pressure. But how interesting. Guess what books they've banned? Let's see. Do you think they've banned books with Satan worship or violence or occult material? Books outlining spell witchcraft incantations? Books glorifying murder or homosexuality? Books blaspheming Jesus Christ or denying his resurrection? None of those. Books on the Illuminati and exposing them, or the Freemasons, or the New World Order, or globalists. Books defending or promoting homosexuality and gay marriage and transgender. Books criticizing the left and the progressives. No. You guessed it. Books questioning and providing evidence for a different, let's say, view of the mainline historical Holocaust. Books providing evidence that it didn't happen. Books having scholarly discussions about from both sides. They've been banned. At least 70 of them, as far as I know. So isn't that telling? As Voltaire said, to learn who rules over you, simply find out who you're not allowed to criticize. So this is they reveal themselves who are the true power in the world. And all these conservatives who are hell-bent on always either not talking about it or actually Jewish, Israeli, Zionist apologists, I'll be really interested to see what they say about this, because aren't they always saying, oh, the New World Order, they're trying to censor our speech and the censorship, and this should, it's a horrible thing, all this censorship. What are they going to say? What sort of nonsense are they going to come up with whenever we say, well, isn't it interesting that the only books that are banned are about the Holocaust? Isn't that telling? Oh, no, they'll come up with some, well, the Holocaust was a horrible event. Anybody, all of a sudden they'll probably become, promoters of censorship all of a sudden, these people. Give you an example. I had a quick search on InfoWars website to see if it was in there, if there's a story about Amazon and the content of the books that they banned. I mean, it's a big story, Amazon, for anybody in the conspiracy movement and the online community who are in the conservative populist movement and resisting this New World Order. This is the type of story that they would cover. If it was, you hear them all the time. Oh, we got censored. They stopped us talking about, we were criticizing SJWs and we got banned from this and we got stopped from that and we weren't allowed on PayPal and we weren't allowed on GoFundMe. Okay, I had a look on Alex Jones. Say anything here about Amazon booking or banning these books about the Jewish Holocaust? No, must have missed that bit of news, Alex. Or maybe you could argue, well, maybe Alex doesn't really, he doesn't bother with Amazon and that type of stuff and what they do. Well, he's got a whole section here you can think. Amazon pushes Islamic propaganda in New Priest and Imam. Yeah, that's the other thing. No censorship for books criticizing Islam or anything like that. Another story Alex got here from 2015. Amazon stuff government order not to sell Confederate flag. Amazon disarms Brits by banning self-defense items. Amazon pulls sexy burqa party out after massive backlash. Amazon bans sale of Confederate gear. Amazon liberals want Bible. And bringing us up to the most present story, in February 17, 2007, Ivanka Trump tops Amazon sales charts and Nordstrom's banned. So and Nordstrom's banned something or other. I haven't clicked the title, but not a mention of it. So Alex is well up to speed with his little team there about what Amazon are doing and what they're promoting and what they're slanting and everything else. Not a mention of, according to this website, 200 books that were banned. Do you think Paul Watson did a video on it? I've checked. He hasn't. I imagine people like Stefan Molyneux haven't either, or Vox. Maybe Vox has. I don't know. Probably doubt it. Hagman and Hagman, those Zionists, those Christian Zionists, Hagman and Hagman. You think they're covering it? I don't think so. Now, they'll conveniently avoid that story because they might have to admit that it's kind of telling which books they've banned. And as I outlined before, maybe they're too polite, or maybe they're actually in the pockets of these people, and they're right from the start. They are COINTELPRO, and they are designed to control opposition, whether knowingly or otherwise. It's not like the Jews are going to be incapable of controlling big alt media, because they control all the mainstream media. So there's no coverage of this in the mainstream media, and none of it in the bigger alt media, poster boys, conservative movement, who actually dodge calling out who's really behind it. Nothing. Just a Jewish conspiracy. As I said before, there was no globalists expelled from every country that have ever been in history. There was just Jews expelled from every country they've ever been in. And I'm sick and tired of people fucking obsessing about, oh, it's not these Jews, it's not that Jews, it's not Jews, that Jews. My research shows that when it comes to it, they are Jews first. Whether they're manipulated, and I know not a lot of them are even allowed to know. Like a lot of the Gentiles are in their pockets, they're on a need-to-know basis. But they're Jews first, and whether they're intimidated or whether they're manipulated or what, they're still part of the problem. The same way as Christian Zionists out marching for the state of Israel. They don't, obviously they're in ignorance, but they're still a problem. And Paul called them the Jews. He made a distinction between the Jews. He was a Jew. So I'd love to hear, of course they don't talk about it, but I'd love to hear some of these morons in Christianity and the conservative movement defend Amazon or comment on Amazon, but they just don't go there, so it's inconvenient for them. That's the problem. That's why a lot of them don't want to go there. We don't want to know. We don't want our careers affected. We want persecution. We're doing quite well here. We're being heroes, freeing everybody, and we're making good money at it, and we're popular and everything else. We don't want any flack. We don't want our numbers to dwindle. We don't want all the pressure from the Jewish power structure, because they're fucking wimps at the end of the day. They've got no spine, and they're part of the problem. They've got voices, they're reaching a lot of people, and they won't talk about it. And it just sickens me, because you have this story which it highlights and reveals who the real power are by their aggression, by shutting down these books. No other books on anything have been banned. But the aggressive Jewish lobby groups, or the World Jewish Congress CEO, Robert Zinger, pressurizing Jeff Bezos, or Bezos, or whatever his name is, the owner of Amazon. Books including The Hoax of the 20th Century, Arthur R. Butts, French revisionist scholar Robert Forresson, who was actually physically attacked by a crowded Jewish mob in 1989. Mainstream media, as I said, is not covering it. Thomas Dalton's book, Debating the Holocaust, A New Look at Both Sides. A lot of the books are actually very fair, scholarly books. Some of the other books are a lot more zealous and dismissive of the whole Holocaust itself. A lot of people have done prison time for questioning the Holocaust. It should tell you something. As Voltaire said again, to learn who rules over you, simply find out who you're not allowed to criticize. But of course, this sort of stuff backfires on the Jews because they're so aggressive that they reveal themselves. This is just very revealing as to who the true power structure really is. The rabbinical Sanhedrin of the day. You don't hear much about the Jewish Holocaust of millions of Christians in Russia, the Bolshevik horror show in the 20th century, do you? Who also then, with the help of FDR and the great Churchill, who stayed underground about 8 floors drinking whiskey, crushed Hitler National Socialism. Because he had the audacity to want to get rid of the Jewish banks and clean up his culture and get rid of the porn and the alcohol and the drugs and the filth and the homosexuality. Whatever you think of Hitler, those things he did do. And they're good things. These are the same things that the conservative movement today are talking about all the time. Of course, they're talking about the symptoms and the tools, but they never actually talk about who's actually doing it. Or you hear these vague terms like globalists and elites. And they want to do this. The left. Who? Oh, we can't say they because we've got a nice career now and we're cool and we're powerful and we're seen as heroes because the people don't freaking know because we're the big guys and we don't tell them. Well, they might pay lip service to it. Well, there is a few. There is some Jews involved. Yeah. Well, there is a Jewish mafia. We get some Jews, and there are some of them. But this is a whole hodgepodge, and the societies, and it's the Chinese, and. Hi, and welcome back. You're live here with me, Paul Stevenson, on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com this Friday, the 31st of March, 2017. I'll be with you for the next 90 minutes. And I'm on Facebook at Paul Edward Stevenson. I have various different videos on my YouTube channel, which is Paul Stevenson, Stevenson. That's Stevenson. Do go and subscribe there if you're interested in the topics discussed in the show, various different interviews, people like Gerald Celente, E. Michael Jones, Jeff Gates, Christian apologist, Gary DeMar, Steve Gregg, Ben Fuchs was on there, the health guy, some of my own videos from the show here. So if you like the content of the show and the direction I'm headed in, go and subscribe at YouTube, and you can also donate there. You can donate through PayPal at Stevenson_P5 at sky.com. Thank you to those who have helped me, and I appreciate that. I was looking, I looked on one of Brother Nathaniel's videos recently. I think PayPal have banned him. Again, isn't that telling? You could talk about just about anything, but you're talking about what he's talking about, and they'll ban you. And the message is loud and clear. From basically, don't criticize the Jews. Amazon boss Jeff Bezos cited offensive material in violation of Amazon standards. Amazon standards, all that filth and wickedness that they'll sell. Oh no, whatever offends the Jews or exposes their lies and BS, that's got to go. That's intolerable. So anyway, enough on that. It's not, it doesn't surprise me. Nothing new to me. It only confirms what I've been talking about in this show. So anyway, personally, I will never buy another book off Amazon again as long as I live. Never. They will get a penny from me. Not one penny.